New York City's rental market usually goes hand in hand with the real estate sales market, but we're apparently facing an odd scenario these days. Here to explain that relationship is Darius Solomon, associate broker for Prudential Douglas Elliman. Darius, good morning.
Good morning.
So what is the relationship normally between sales and rentals, and how are things different right now?
Well, historically, we've seen that when you've had a strong sales market, you've had a softer rental market, and vice versa, because one is a reaction to the other. But since over the past actually couple of years now, and although we have seen a changing real estate sales market, we're at a point really where we've seen both shortages in inventory for sales and rentals at the same time, which is fairly unusual.
So basically, they're both going up.
Well, they've both been going up actually, and if we take a look, the average rent, and here looking across the board for the east side at $3,200, an average change of 11% up to 2006 was $3,600. Now we're looking at averages for the west side, east side, and downtown here. On the west side itself, looking at $3,700 versus $3,300. So we've seen increases of almost 10% a year for the past 3 years.
And how incredible is that? I mean, rent just always seems to go up, but to jump 10%, 11% in 1 year?
Well, what we've seen is a lot of it was driven by, number one, increased job growth. There's been very steady job growth. We've seen developers actually costing more for construction projects, which lends to higher rental rates. We've also seen conversion of some existing rental properties into condominiums, if you look at Peter Cooper or Stuyvesant Town. And I mean, all those factor in with vacancy rates at actually 5%, which are incredibly low right now.
Incredibly low. Let's talk about the different neighborhoods, the west side versus the east side and downtown. Any of them more particularly hot at the moment?
Well, downtown has always been the strongest market, and we've seen the largest number and the highest prices in the downtown, especially in smaller entry-level units. The west side, historically, we saw a lot of smaller units being sold. Now, these all have increases, but we've seen an increase in the luxury markets with a lot of new construction going up in the 30s through the 60s on the west side. And the east side, which was historically the luxury market, we've seen more demand in the entry-level units, and the luxury market, the west side is actually competing.
Amazing. Let's look at those average prices one more time. And when you look at them, it's incredible that they're in the $3,000, nearly $4,000 range. Does this signal maybe it's better to sell, to buy than rent, or it really always depends on your needs?
That argument has been around for a long time. Really, if you're able to afford purchasing, at the end of on a monthly basis, it will cost you more. But at the end of the year, you'll see that rental versus buying, especially in the one-bedroom average purchase of about $600,000, will only be really a couple of $100s more in a co-op purchase than if you were to rent. Also, really quickly, the prices when we're looking at the averages in studios at about the $2,000 range, one-bedrooms, and about the $2,500 to $3,000, and two-bedrooms, $5,000 range. Finally, three-bedrooms at about the $10,000 a month range.
Unbelievable. A three-bedroom apartment in Manhattan renting for $10,000 a month.
It's definitely an interesting market.
Yeah, it sure is. I'm glad I'm not living in Manhattan anymore. Thank you, Darius Solomon. It's always a pleasure. And Michael, over to you.
Okay, thank you very much.